What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, here today to review and talk about the latest 4K release from Warner Brothers, A Clockwork Orange, a film directed by Stanley Kubrick. This came out in 1971. Before we do that, guys, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more great content. Also, be sure to like this video, guys. Every single like will help this video out and help this channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. And also, comment down below, do you have any thoughts on A Clockwork Orange? When was the first time that you watched this insane movie? Let me know all those thoughts in the comment section below. Did you purchase the new 4K transfer? Were you lucky enough to get that steelbook? Because I know it was out of stock at so many places and people were having a lot of trouble getting that steelbook. Hell, I was having trouble getting this, just the slipcover version. I couldn't find it in stores, but I did order it online, got it in over the weekend. So we're all good there. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, what's your thoughts on this movie? Because I need to hear it. And with this one, there's a lot to say and there's a lot to dive into. This is a very dense film thematically, but yeah, there's tons to get into, guys. I just like to have a general conversation, just like I'm talking to you guys. That's why the title of the video is Let's Talk Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. I just like to kind of have a conversation and just get all my thoughts, as disorganized as they may be. I like to get all my thoughts out with you guys and just kind of work through this movie together. So yeah, this is a film directed by Stanley Kubrick. This is his seventh film at this point. I think he directed 4 films in the 60s, 2 in the 50s. I know he had some shorter films before that, but he has 11 films in total, and this was his 7th film in the early 70s, 1971. So it stars Malcolm McDowell as the title character of Alex the Hooligan, and it is based on a novel by Anthony Burgess. So I think that the novel came out sometime in 1963, 1964, sometime there. But Stanley Kubrick read that novel and knew that he wanted to make this adaptation. He just had to find a studio that was crazy enough to adapt to this freaking nuts, bonkers idea. And he found Warner Brothers. And it's really just a story of a violent young man in his reformation in this kind of futuristic, almost fantastical world with just its own class structure and language. It's like in a futuristic England or something like that, the UK. So I don't think that the English talk the way, I don't know everything about English. I'm sorry if you're over in the UK and you feel like I'm slandering you in any way, but I don't feel like you all talk in the way that they talk in this movie, with just like all of the slang and stuff that they use throughout the film, the giving her the old in and out, and just the way they talk in this film. It's very strange and off-putting, but it's also just very engaging and almost enchanting as well. It like just kind of draws you into the film. I could just listen to Malcolm McDowell's Alex, the hooligan character, just talk all day. Like, I just love hearing the dialogue and listening to the dialogue of this film. It's like one of my favorite parts of the movie. So the movie opens, it's really kind of like most movies are 3 acts, but in this one in particular, you really feel that 3-act structure, because you feel the beginning, the middle, the end. And it has a very distinct arc for this character. Right off the bat, guys, you're dropped into this just complete world of chaos. And Stanley Kubrick, a master of the craft, it opens up with this shot of Alex, the close-up of Malcolm McDowell. It's iconic at this point. He takes the glass of milk, he drinks it, it pans out all throughout this room with these really weird statues, like naked people like showing their private areas, and it's just that it's a very strange room, and it's like it's what they call a milk bar, and they're getting milk out of these nipples that are attached to like human statues or mannequins or whatever the hell they are, and you just see like the slow pan out as this music, the score of this film is fantastic. It's, again, one of my favorite scores now. It's like stuck in my head. But on top of this fantastic score, you also have all of these like classic orchestral stingers in there as well. Like, they use a lot of Beethoven. Like, Ludwig van Beethoven is Alex's favorite musician. He talks about him all throughout the movie, and I forget what he calls him. He calls him the old Ludwig or something like that. I forget. I know I'm saying it completely wrong. I just watched this movie like 12 hours ago. What do you expect from me? Yeah, you have all of this classic orchestral music. You have all of this, the score of the film, and it just all comes together so perfectly, just with the direction, and I don't know, everything about this first act for me just clicks, and it's utterly chaotic. It's disturbing in some sequences. Like, there are scenes of rape, and I completely understand if you watch this movie and you never want to watch anything like this ever again. Because there are some very strong and offensive scenes and just some deeply disturbing imagery and sequences in the first part of this film. But just the way that they shoot it, the way that they perform it, and the way that it's portrayed almost in like a comedic way, almost like you're supposed to be in on the joke, like you're supposed to be laughing with the characters. Like this is supposed to be so hyper unrealistic that you can't even buy that any of this stuff would actually occur in the real world. As horrific as it is, and stuff like this does definitely happen, just the way that they're going about performing these crimes and atrocities throughout this town is completely unrealistic and just unlike you've ever seen anything before, unlike you've ever seen any type of characters or actual people behaving. Like the initial scene where he breaks into the house and starts kicking the old man and raping his wife, and he's singing in the rain as he's doing it. It's just such a contrast stylistically that it's so off-putting. And then you go into, from this, you go into the, he gets arrested after murdering that woman with the big dick statue, and then he goes to jail, and that's the second act. That's where you see him getting the treatment and the clinical trials and the therapy and the whole opening his eyelids as he's made to watch this violent and disturbing behavior on films, as he's videoing the films, as he likes to say. Again, I have no idea if I'm saying any of this right. And this is some very strong stuff as well, because you get to see his character, kind of his eyes are open to, oh, I don't like watching this stuff. I don't like watching the stuff that I used to do myself. How they just shock treat him and almost brainwash him into being like a moral, upstanding citizen, a proper citizen of society through this shock treatment, and how he transitions back into normal everyday life with his family and just his friends, and how people have moved on and the world has changed since he's been in jail, and how he's adjusting to his own properness in society. And it feels like a movie that does have a lot to say about being inhibited and not being allowed to be your own true self. Also, like, that feels weird because you know how horrible this person is, and you don't want him to be behaving this way anymore. So in a way, you're almost on the side of the people that brainwashed him, but then like you feel like you may be wanting to be on the other side, like you're rooting for Alex to fall back into his old ways and to his old behaviors almost. You want to see him become the hooligan that he once was. And then that just makes you feel like a bad person wanting that to happen. So it's just a very interesting movie. It's a movie that invokes all kinds of different feelings while you're watching it. And it's just such a completely dynamic and energetic piece of original fiction. Like, yeah, I can honestly say I've never seen anything else like this movie. And I can't even think of a movie that's really taken inspiration from this. Like, this movie feels like it stands alone. Like, there is nothing like a Clockwork Orange that you will ever see. And again, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong and be like, oh, this movie did that in 1985. They clearly ripped off a Clockwork Orange. But to me, like everything I've seen, I've never seen anything like a Clockwork Orange. It just stands on itself completely. So getting into some of this, the filmmaking qualities of this, like Stanley Kubrick at this point in his career, just coming off of 2001: A Space Odyssey, he was a master of the craft, an absolute master of the craft. He uses all of his tricks that he learned in 2001, all of his camera techniques, all of his impressive shots, cinematography, and he takes it to this world. And this movie, just the way that it's shot and the way that it's presented to you, reminds me so much of 2001. Only in this one, it actually has more interesting and engaging characters that I actually enjoy watching. Whereas 2001, no shade to that film, it's a very impressive movie. I don't care about any of the characters in that movie, and I do in this one. This is just a masterfully directed film. This is Stanley Kubrick's. I love The Shining. That one's always going to be my favorite, but it's between this one and Full Metal Jacket. I'm going to have to watch that one again as to which one my number 2 is. But yeah, this is a great movie, guys. Like I said, it does follow that 3-act structure. And to me, when we get to that third act, I don't enjoy that third act as much as I did the previous 2. For me, it's a little bit too drawn out. It's a little bit too, I don't want to say boring because I'm still interested in it. It's just not as lively as those first 2 acts are. So the weaker third act to me is where I struggle with giving this like a perfect, like, masterpiece level film. So I got to give this a 4.5 out of a 5. So this is a great film, guys, top to bottom, great film all around. Malcolm McDowell is absolutely fantastic in the movie. He carries this film like he's in it from beginning to end. Fantastic performance. So yeah, 4.5 out of a 5 for the actual film. Let's get into the transfer of this movie, guys, because this transfer, you know, I've heard some things about it before I watched it myself. A lot of people were saying it was great. It was shining level. I was not prepared for how great this transfer actually was, but it is extremely detailed. There's some awesome facial details in this. You get the real close-ups on Malcolm McDowell. Like I said, this movie is so impressively shot. You get all of these really great close-ups and you see the stubbles and stuff on Malcolm McDowell's face. So all the facial details are there, which is like a clear sign of a great transfer to me when I'm watching something. That's usually what I pick up on first. The second thing, guys, the color in this is absolutely fantastic, especially when you're in his actual home with his parents. Like the colors that they use in there, like with his bed sheets and his comforter, and then you go into the kitchen, there's all the orange and reds and yellows on the wall. Like it just all sticks out. It's all so vibrant. The HDR in this is just so incredible and vibrant and popping, and it just, everything looks fantastic. You know, there is a fair amount of grain in this, but this is a 50-year-old movie, guys. At this point, with these older classic films, you do expect a certain level of film grain, and at this point, I don't really want them to take it out because that kind of takes away the natural film feel of the film itself. So one thing I'll say though, it is a little bit too noticeable. Like in some of these scenes, like there's a lot of spotlights that just come straight in and kind of flares on the camera, and you can really notice that grain in there, and it does not look great. To me, I would give this like a 4.99 out of 5. Just absolutely fantastic. Warner Brothers continues to kill it in the transfer department. Like between this and Shawshank Redemption, two of the best transfers of the year. And for this one, there is no Dolby Atmos as well, but they did choose to go with the DTS HD Master Audio, which again, I am listening to on a soundbar, so I can't experience the greatness of the audio quality in this one. But again, I know a lot of people get upset when there's no Atmos, but this movie sounds really good. The score is really awesome, and I honestly don't think it really needs that Atmos treatment, in my opinion. But again, if you have the setup, you could think another way. So getting into the packaging itself, guys, this is just, I love this. Like we talked about Shawshank, another Warner Brothers release. Why couldn't they do that with that one? The same thing they did with this. Just nice, cool, original artwork. And all of the Kubrick 4Ks have just been great. They've been killing it with original artwork. Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, like I've said many times, has my absolute favorite 4K artwork. So yeah, just nice, original artwork on the packaging. Right there on the back, guys, you have Malcolm McDowell right there with the orange. Like it looks so incredible. You have the orange font down here. It just really adds a lot in terms of just aesthetically to this product, I think, and it just looks great on the shelf. Other than just choosing, you know, like they could have just picked like random scene. They could have just had him drinking milk on the cover, just random scene from the film, slapped it on the front. It'd been like Shawshank Redemption, but they actually took the time. They went the extra mile. They put some great artwork on this, and I think it pays off. This is fantastic. Now, as for the actual discs itself, you do get a digital code in here as well, which I've already removed. Just 2 orange discs. So I would have appreciated some artwork, but we didn't get it. You have the 2 orange discs, which I don't really like because, yeah, it has 4K on one of them and has Blu-ray on the other, but I like seeing that distinction between the two, like when I open it up. Now I have to actually look and say, is this 4K? Is this Blu-ray? And kind of look a little bit. So I just like them being different as soon as I open it up and I notice. So that's one detail that I notice right there. As for the special features, guys, no new special features with this release. But again, with these catalog titles, that's what we've come to expect at this point. So all the special features on this are from the previous Blu-ray releases. So you had the 2007 Blu-ray release, and then you have the 40th anniversary edition that came out in 2011. They basically combined the special features for those two, but also left some out from both of them as well. So in this one, you do get that commentary track from Malcolm McDowell and historian Nick Redman. I actually listened to about 45 minutes of this after I watched the movie. I went back and replayed it. Some really interesting stuff in there where Malcolm McDowell actually goes into the fact that Kubrick said that he wouldn't even make this movie if he could not cast Malcolm McDowell, because that's the only person that he saw fulfilling the role. So I actually thought that was pretty interesting commentary from what I listened to. Now, the commentary is on the 4K disc itself, but that's the only special feature that's on there, and the rest of the special features are on the Blu-ray disc. So You also get Malcolm McDowell Looks Back, Turning Like Clockwork Channel 4 documentary, Still Ticking, The Return of Clockwork Orange, featurette Great Balshi Yarblakos, and Making a Clockwork Orange, and also you get a theatrical trailer. So a good amount of special features on this, guys, but again, nothing new. This is all stuff from previous Blu-ray and DVD releases of the past. So yeah, guys, all that being said, this is a great movie. This is a great transfer. What do you want me to say? I absolutely recommend picking this up, even at the $25 price point. It's one of the best 4Ks of the year, one of the best movies of the year. This month has just been absolutely killing it. The Thing, Shawshank Redemption. I feel like a broken record at this point just with me recommending all of these 4Ks, but I've loved this month and the releases so much, guys. I've just loved them all. And yeah, this is one of the best, guys. I love this movie. I love this transfer. Absolutely fantastic. So with that, guys, I absolutely recommend picking this one up. I'll leave the link in the description below if you want to purchase it. It will be an Amazon affiliate link, and if you use it, it will be supporting the channel. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to give it a like. Also, comment down below your thoughts on A Clockwork Orange. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on all those bell notifications for all future videos, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.